This is an Audio Wool original.
This episode of Frightday is brought to you by Gates of Hell Chipotle Hot Sauce by Frightday. Bold chipotle flavor blended with habanero peppers for just the right burn. Kissed with garlic and passion fruit. Zero human blood, like none at all. Visit shop.frightday.com before the first batch disappears.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you'd like to support us, go to patreon.com/frightday.
It is Frightday. I'm your host, Byron. What happened to riding bikes, hopping scotch, and drinking out of hoses? In my day, kids made friends with other people, real human people, not just through tablet screens. But technology can be a tempting replacement following a traumatic and isolating loss, especially when that technology is a robot. We'll talk about that tonight.
You know what I liked? I liked that you said in my day kids did this, not in my day I did this. Like you very specifically separated yourself.
And how out of touch this film made me feel tonight as we review Gerard Johnstone's M3GAN.
Yeah.
I'm joined tonight by Kelly.
Hi.
And Sam can't make it because he's dancing in the hallway.
Oh, is he?
That would be a sight to see.
He's actually doing a mashup of this and the Wednesday dance, and it's a sight to behold. It's pretty impressive.
You're a lucky lady.
Some would say.
Yeah. We're live. It's probably why you heard all the mutterings before we started, because Kelly doesn't understand how a fucking show is run. And she's sipping on an Odyssey hard cider.
Seattle.
Very nice. Good stuff. This is the first. Episode 340 is the first live episode of the podcast. We're going to be doing this monthly. I initially thought this would be a great idea.
It's a commitment.
Because I don't have to edit it, and it would be easier somehow. But turns out, Kelly's coming in hot.
Yeah, I don't know what you expected.
I expected you'd do your job.
I'm doing my job, I feel like.
All right, well... someone else doing their job. On the ones and twos, Joe Rogan may have Jamie, but we've got ourselves a Dennis.
I will take a Dennis over a Joe Rogan and a Jamie any day.
He's going to be pushing buttons, running some soundboard, and switching cameras. So yeah, Dennis, thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Really appreciate you.
Yeah,
a lot, and I'm sorry in advance. Dennis, you might have seen him before. Dennis does Casual Frightday with myself and Jared Sayer twice monthly now on this same channel, twitch.tv/Frightday. So,
so fun.
Not on camera now, though.
They don't invite me to that.
You're not doing much for getting one. An invitation, that is.
I think I'm,
No.
You know.
We're going to be in this room like a week from now, too, so you better get your shit together.
The camera's weird. It's hard to get used to.
Quit looking at the video.
I'm not looking at the video. I can't see the video. You can see, look at...
Then why is it weird?
It's weird because I know it's there.
We're going to be on camera quite a bit next week.
I feel like Sweet D and Always Sunny. I'm feeling very awkward.
Camp Frightday 3.
Throw up.
February. It could be the big New Yorker pizza that you just ate. We slammed a slice.
It could be.
Very cold, big New Yorker pizza.
It was Luke. It wasn't cold.
It was not warm.
No.
Camp Frightday 3, February 10th and 11th, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time to 10 p.m.
Are we doing that here?
Yeah, it's same setup.
Same setup?
Dennis. Dennis is going to be helping us out.
Can I bring the kids?
I think we could. I might be pushing the buttons. I don't know. He's just making faces
Dennis
at
just
me.
made a terrible face.
I don't know.
That's okay. Puck and Creech can run the soundboard. We're good.
I don't think your children are coming over here. There's too many wires.
I feel like they do well with it. They're pretty adept.
Cables and wires. I don't think it's a good idea.
You know.
But what is a good idea? Joining us next week, February 10th and 11th, live editions of Byron Serial Corner, Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies, Cinema Autopsy. What did we decide for Cinema Autopsy? Should we announce that now?
Nosferatu.
Is it Nosferatu?
Yeah.
Is that or
Nosferatu.
Cabinet of
my
Caligari or whatever?
Okay, you can't even say the name of the movie.
I know.
So I think that means it's Nosferatu.
Got a lot to learn about it.
My vote was Nosferatu simply because there is a slightly more Valentine's-like element to it. And it's
romantic.
It really is a classic.
Everyone wants to fuck a vampire.
Well, yeah, and we've got that new vampire flick coming out. So
Renfield, yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing. We've got some guests popping in. We've got a writers' room table read. I haven't locked in the film yet.
That's okay. In fact, I've been getting questions about that from the people I've recruited for the table read.
Yeah.
But I just told them they're going to have to
people you recruited for. How many people are you secretly?
Well, I was on the
this is what
street
I'm supposed
earlier
to be
today,
doing.
and I was just asking for volunteers. I got quite a few.
So much more. All from the comforting glow of your computer screen. And this year, folks, it's free.
It is free.
All you need to do is
look at us.
Go to frightday.rsvp. What's that stand for?
You know what we say to inflation? We say, fuck you, we're going to make it free.
What's RSVP stand for?
Respond, s'il vous plaît. It's French.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Romantic.
I think the respond is actually whatever respond is in French, but I don't remember that. Great. It's just the s'il vous plaît part that I remember.
S'il vous plaît.
Is please in French. Isn't that way more complicated than please?
No. Why? Come on.
It is.
I mean...
S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
You cannot.
Please.
We have French listeners. You don't need to.
I don't think it's bad. It's just more complicated.
All right. Well, welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Disney. How was it?
Oh, so good. It was so good. It was really good. I got my youngest to ride Tower of Terror with me 3 times. That was really fun.
Tall enough?
Yeah, she was tall enough for that. We had to put paper towels rolled up in her shoes to get her on the Aerosmith rock and roller coaster, and then we had to also hide her from Steven Tyler.
Does it say going down as the roller coaster?
It changes. It changes the song. So the idea of the ride is that you go into a sound studio, and Aerosmith, circa 1999, is recording a song, and
they're in the
like,
recording studio.
"Oh, we gotta get to the show.
We gotta get to the show.
Oh, we can't leave these people here. Let's take you to the show." And so you're in a super stretched limo in the dark, zooming through LA highways.
This is a ride.
Yeah, it's the only ride at Disney World that goes upside down, actually, twice. But that has the highest height requirement, and Puck was just like an eighth of an inch under. So you wanted to risk
her child's life by
completely
putting paper towels in her shoe.
Yeah, well, it's a family tradition. That's just what we do in our family.
You cheat. Mm-hmm. You lie.
I mean, you know the story about me flying in that open biplane. I wasn't supposed to go in that.
What is
Almost
she
died.
talking about?
You remember that story? My dad, Silverwood, he took me up in that biplane and the seatbelt broke.
Wait, there was a literal biplane?
Do you not remember this story?
No, and you need to give the audience context if you're going to say all this
There
stuff.
is an old-timey theme park that is about 3 hours west of where we live
Yes.
that all of us have been to.
Yeah, Silverwood theme park.
And back in the day, it used to be a combination airfield with air shows and theme park. Okay?
Yeah.
And back in those days, you could actually take a ride in an old-timey, like Red Baron-style open cockpit biplane.
Dude, go in an actual plane?
An actual biplane. All right. And so I was like 6 and I went with my dad, and they weren't supposed to let kids as young as me go, but my dad talked them into it. And so we went.
Said you had Benjamin Button.
Yeah, he may have said that. I don't think
60 years old.
That was the thing.
Benjamin
So he had to
Button.
like explain about that movie that was going to come out 20 years down the road.
Okay,
But
calm down.
Okay. So I get in the biplane and we go up, and he does this trick where he turns upside down, except my seatbelt literally breaks and my dad is holding me inside the airplane.
What a hoot.
Literally just by that. So, the whole rolled up paper towels in the shoe for Aerosmith rock and roller coasters.
We got to get to the show! Right?
It is hilarious.
That's
and also
cool.
with all the context of current Steven Tyler shit, it's even more unsettling.
We don't need to get into pop
culture. Well, no, I'm just
corner.
saying, like, there's all this rumor that they're going to rebrand it, which they should have done long ago.
Rebrand the ride.
Well, yeah, because Disney can't be associated with the dude that screws the 16-year-old and
He didn't just do that. He also convinced the parents. He convinced
it was much more R. Kelly-like.
To sign her over to him.
It was almost exactly like Aaliyah, and if people don't freak out about it, then it really is kind of a racial statement, I feel like.
Wow.
I don't know. That's my hot take. But
Disney overall.
The real jam
was
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Great.
It's their newest ride. 360-degree roller coaster that's on like a flat track. It's all like magnetic stuff, so it's like the smoothest thing ever. And it goes in circles and up. Oh, it was amazing. Rode that one a lot. It was a great time. 84 degrees when I got on the plane.
It was really cold.
-4 when I got off
here. Whole time.
Monday night.
Very cold.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. How are you?
Fine, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah, doing okay. I'm doing wonderful, actually.
Yeah?
I got the chance to watch another movie. I watched this one twice now. I went to the world premiere of it. Not world premiere. Theatrical
I was going to
premiere.
say in Missoula.
First day. Just the first day.
You don't say.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. First
How
of
was
all,
the crowd for that?
surprisingly, I'll talk about it, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think we'll
That's fair.
talk about theatrical experience when we get to that spot.
Right,
But-
because you didn't like the movie, so you want to be able to talk more about the experience.
Come on
Okay.
now.
That's all right.
What did you have any thoughts? You didn't know. No, that was Dennis. Dennis didn't know about the balloons.
Oh, I knew about the balloons.
What's going on?
So it's been an interesting week at our house because we got back from Disney, and almost immediately after we got back, there was this kerfluffle that began over a balloon, Chinese in nature, that was flying over our country.
Well,
so Sam does this thing.
Specifically our country.
Well, yeah, like our neck of the country. So Sam does this thing that maybe a lot of other people do. It seems weird to me, but there's something where you can, it's not like hacked or anything. I think anybody has access to it, but you can track all the air traffic in the country.
Yeah.
Like there's some app and you can watch it. And he has been obsessively looking at that for like the last 2 days. And I don't know, last night he was talking about how like there was this blank spot over the Midwest, which meant they had to be like, had all these fighters out that just had their switch flipped off that were like following it around the...
in flyover country?
Yeah. Like that were
But
like...
not flyover country.
Right, exactly. So as you would imagine, or maybe as you wouldn't imagine, because Byron was very surprised to hear this, I was very hopeful until I saw pictures that this was a much more interesting situation than just a stupid weather balloon, because we all know that sometimes when we hear about weather balloons, it's actually way cooler shit. But after seeing pictures and examining them closely, it appears to be
It's a weather
truly
balloon. You
just
thought it
weather
was a
balloon.
UFO.
I really wanted it to be something better.
A daytime UFO.
I have been listening to the new Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp podcast, and I was
Yikes.
really fired up about that.
Weaponized.
And so I know, don't say the name of it. Just call it the
Weaponized.
new George Knapp podcast.
It's called Weaponized, Dennis.
So
Sorry, it's nice to have you here.
It was
by
a
the way.
bummer.
Great.
Do you guys talk about like my stuff?
What do you mean?
When you guys do the Frightday, casual Frightday with
I
Dennis?
don't think so,
You don't.
actually.
So like Dennis isn't like initiated into
Dennis
the alien
doesn't
shit.
know what you're doing.
What do you know about aliens, Dennis?
He's not on mic, and we're
Oh,
not.
he's not
gonna-
on mic. We can't converse
I
with
don't know
him.
anything about aliens.
There we go. Perfect. That's one of these days. We'll mic him up like Jamie, and he can push the talk button.
I like that. I like that.
Jamie from Rogan, of course.
I know. I figured.
Just want to clarify. Back in episode 29, actually, we covered the Maelstrom Air Force Base UFO incident.
And we are revisiting it this year because there's much more to the story.
And it just so happens that this is the trajectory, the course that this balloon...
Well, yeah, it obviously flew over our most sensitive nuclear weapons facilities.
Most sensitive nuclear weapons
Yeah, that's what it
facilities.
did.
I don't know about
It
most.
did.
It's not most sensitive.
Number 4 in the country.
Yeah, so number 4.
Most sensitive. It flew over like 8 of them.
Fourth most sensitive.
It flew over 8 of them, so
Jesus.
clearly it's going to fly over ours. By the way, it came through Canada.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
it's not like it was dipping down into like Nevada or something.
Oh, no, it did go to Nevada.
It did not.
Yeah, it went south from us.
No, it didn't. I just watched the trajectory. I watched the map.
You sent me a picture of the map
Yeah, it didn't go.
that had Nevada highlighted.
God, here she goes.
Yeah, no, you
Pull
sent
up.
it. You
Pull
sent
up.
it. I'm pulling it up.
All right, but yeah, if you want to hear us talk about
Did
that,
you see Nevada highlighted on that map?
show the camera.
Do you camera or this camera? Do one of you? Woo!
Please don't ever make that noise. It's always too loud. It's always too loud.
Okay, well, you just have to take my word for it that Nevada is clearly highlighted on the map. See, Byron? Do you see that? Do you know which state is Nevada?
Do you know what this is, Kelly? Those are just maps of Air Force bases.
It says location of Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah, which is the red part.
Yeah, at the moment.
It came north
It
and
went
down.
It went down.
Nope. No. It didn't.
Okay, it might not have gone to
it didn't
Nevada.
do
I really
that.
thought that's what your map said. I didn't read
I didn't
it
make
closely
the
enough.
map.
You sent it. You shouldn't send
did.
stuff that you haven't researched, Byron.
Oh, I did research.
You know where that leads.
Episode 29.
Yeah.
Maelstrom Air Force Base UFO incident. So check that out. It came out in June of 2015.
Well, and that was definitely a UFO and not a balloon.
Maybe.
Oh.
Who knows? But Kelly, I
my
do know
God.
you've got a lot of catching up to do. And this is where I look at Dennis about a sound clip that we're going to be dropping here. These DVD copies of... I don't have one. Let me think.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't prepare one. They're not going to put themselves away.
50 for states?
It's any
Done that.
Probably.
Told me.
The
I
howling
would've prepped
horror
one.
straight
The
ahead.
joys of live entertainment. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not my genre, folks. I don't know a goddamn thing about living dolls or robots or AI.
You know what I know about living dolls?
What?
That funny new show I've been watching, Dave.
Oh my god.
There's a doll in that show.
We got
very creepy.
We literally dipped a toe in the right direction of our show. I let you talk about Disneyland for the third week in a row.
Okay, so first it's Disney World, and second, you asked.
I did.
I followed your lead.
Okay. Can we not talk about fucking Dave on Hulu right now? Would that be okay?
There's a creepy doll in it, is all over.
Great. Wonderful. How about you give me your staff pick?
I'd love to give you my staff pick of the week.
Should
Are
I
you going to
say-
play the trailer for it first, Byron, so that
Well,
we
tell
can
us
get
what
people
it is,
primed?
of course, and why.
This is 1988's Pin.
All right, here we go.
It's pretty creepy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah? I think.
Pin is the one and only friend Leon's ever had. The only one who doesn't care that Leon's
Elijah Wood?
different.
No, but it looks like him.
It must be crazy to be here tonight. I defended you. Boy, was I dumb.
You never had secrets from each other.
Only Pin knows Leon's darkest secret.
Leon?
Hello, Marshall.
Oh my God.
When someone hurts Leon, Pin hurts them. When someone tries to come between them, Pin won't let them.
I don't think Aunt Dorothy will be staying with us for very long.
What do you mean?
Might take her a little while to feel the vibrations, but I think she will.
Ahead of its time.
Do you want to watch this whole trailer?
Yeah. Don't you think it's good?
Dorothy.
I'm unsure.
If you want to get closer to Leon, you'll have to take care of Pin before Pin takes care of you. Is Pin a friend
Oh, please.
or an enemy? Only
I don't think this
Leon
is a real
knows.
trailer.
What have you done?
Oh, it is.
I think someone else is doing
What have you
this.
done?
It's real.
What am I gonna do?
Pin. Some friendships die hard.
So, Byron, before I answer your question about what Pin is, I'm going to give you a little background on the movie.
Okay.
Okay. 1988.
Great.
It's based on a novel by Andrew Niederman, who also wrote Devil's Advocate. Have you not seen
I don't know that
Devil's
one.
Advocate?
No.
Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves, literally about the devil. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
It seems kind of boring, right? Isn't
I
it?
really wish I could talk to Dennis. I feel like he would add a lot to this conversation.
I don't think he would. From the look of this guy doesn't know a goddamn thing.
It was directed by Sandor Stern, who also wrote the screenplay for the original Amityville Horror.
Okay.
Okay.
That's cool.
And Pin is a teaching doll
Oh,
from
like
a
CPR
medical
doll?
facility. Yeah, a little bit, but like more anatomical pieces than just a CPR doll. Like
Oh.
a full medical. Exactly. And that comes
Dennis's
into play
eyes
too.
lit up. This
Yeah,
guy.
that's where the Dave reference came in, but I'm not supposed to do that. So
No.
Jonathan Banks, who incidentally plays Mike from Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Did he have hair
He's-
then?
Yes, he did. But
Nice.
it doesn't matter because he was just the voice of Pin. So you wouldn't
Okay.
know if he had
Right.
hair or
I
not.
guess it makes
It's a ventriloquist doll, but it more importantly has all the anatomical parts to serve as a teaching doll. This actually made Fangoria's 101 best horror movies you've never seen.
I've never seen it.
Well,
so
there you
that
go.
makes sense.
Perfect.
Let's
Okay.
Add it on the list.
All right, so it's all about these kids. The damaged son specifically is kind of a bit like what the young girl from our movie tonight might be like if there was a sequel. played by David Hewlett, who went on to become one of Guillermo del Toro's favorite actors. He's in Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley. You watched the Graveyard episode of Cabinets of Curiosity?
I don't know if I did.
The grave digger, the grave robber with the rats?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
He played the grave digger in that. Anyhow, the plot line is emotionally withholding father, Dr. Linden, who is played by Terry Quinn from Lost. Okay, so like lots of interesting people in this. Uses this creepy anatomy doll to teach his kids about bodily functions, etc. But outside of the weird birds and bees talks, he doesn't really interact with them at all. And so he doesn't notice that his son is a budding sociopath. And this isn't much of a spoiler early on in the movie. Much like early on in tonight's movie, both the parents die in a car accident.
Fuck.
Okay, that's like in the literally the first 30 seconds.
It's not 30 seconds, 2 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Because it does open with a commercial.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We'll talk
Good
about
point. Good point. And it's about the evolving relationship with this very creepy doll. Real interesting movie. Lots of up to interpretation stuff. Highly recommend. Definitely a lot of horror, maybe not royalty, but horror
Well, Terry
import connected to
Terry
it.
Quinn is a horror guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stepfather before
Yep.
he did Lost.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Great
he's in a
Stepfather.
ton of stuff. I just, everybody knows him from Lost, and I'd given enough. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's a good one, Byron. You should check it out.
Maybe I will. Have you
Okay.
seen it?
Yes.
You have seen this.
Not for like 10 years,
No,
but yes,
okay.
I've seen it. It was pre podcast days.
Pre-podcast?
Last time I saw it.
I hardly recognize those times at this point.
Me neither. It's
It
like
feels
another
like just
lifetime.
an endless cycle,
Yeah.
At this point, well, that sounds fun. Not as fun as my selection, though.
I doubt that. Let's hear it.
Well, this is 1991's Dolly Dearest.
This is the doll your daddy's gonna make in Mexico. And this is the factory where we're gonna make her and sew her little dresses. Isn't she beautiful?
May I have one, Daddy?
From the moment they met,
I'm gonna love her so much.
Look at that doll.
it was a fairy tale
It's
come
the
true.
proper voice guy.
Good night, Dolly.
Sweet dreams, darling.
But this is where the fairy tale ends and the nightmare begins.
Dolly?
You ready for it?
Dolly?
It's time to play.
Ooh, that face.
Play with this, bitch.
Dolly Dearest.
That was not the trailer that came out in 1991.
It was.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they say the B word in 1991, Kelly.
In trailers?
Maybe.
No,
Actually,
I don't
know.
think
That's
so.
a good point.
I don't think they do.
After Elliot, an American businessman, takes ownership of a doll manufacturing company in Mexico, strange things start happening to his family. Most notably, his young daughter, Jessica, develops an unusually close bond with a doll she has found. The doll, possessed by an evil spirit, proceeds to terrorize the household and exert its influence on Jessica. Can Elliot free his little girl from the doll's supernatural grip? I don't know.
I mean, I see that Rip Torn is in it, which is
Exactly.
the only reason I might buy
So,
in.
and that I thought that was kind of go along the lines with the campy elements of the film we're talking about tonight.
I can't sing any of the Freddie Got Fingered songs, can I?
I don't know why you would.
I mean, because Rip Torn.
Rip Torn, is he a major character in Freddy Got Fingered?
Yeah, he's the dad.
Oh, you're right, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Byron, catch the fuck up.
This is what I deal with. Why
It's a
would
classic.
that be a catch the fuck up?
It's a classic. How the fuck would you not?
First of all, it is not a classic.
It is a
It is a cult
classic.
classic at most. And I did see it on the weekend it came out with my friends and my mom. Okay.
That's very weird.
It also stars Denise Crosby from Pet Sematary and also Deep Impact. Very nice. It's pretty obviously just riding the Child's Play train, but that doesn't really matter to me because I don't really care.
I don't know. I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
care
lie.
about Chucky.
I was gonna say, like, my biggest problem going into tonight's movie was that I hate the Child's Play movies.
Okay.
So it went in with a bit of like a negative chip on my shoulder.
Interesting.
But that looked don't get me wrong, it looks terrible.
I don't
but
know
it looks
about that.
way better than Child's Play. I would be much more inclined to watch that than one of the Child's Play sequels that I haven't seen.
That's really tough to say. I don't know. Bride of Chucky was really fun. I did like that one.
Sam tries to tell me that too.
Well, it's. I mean, there's a semi-truck scene that's just exquisite, but this film looks insane. But so why not watch it? I have not seen it yet.
Wow, it must have traumatized the little girl because she basically did nothing after this other than a voice on the Land Before Time movies, and then she pieced out and was done.
Wait, who was the girl?
Little girl, the girl who played Jessica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was just doing some investigation there a little bit.
Oh, great. Well, and I do see in the chat someone said that Dolly Dearest rules. So
that is a really
great opportunity for me to say,
convincing.
if you have any questions for us, we're not going to answer them during the show, but feel free to.
I'm not allowed to look at them.
Because you'll be distracted.
I will be.
So
it's true.
Feel free to, talk amongst yourselves in the chat, and also if you have any questions at the end, we might answer some. We might be doing a little Q&A at the end of these live episodes, but yeah, feel free. Go off in the chat. Sound off, friends. And also, before we lock up, Dennis, I'd like to take a second to welcome and initiate some new members into the Frightday Society. Good work. Wonderful job. This guy over here.
That wasn't me.
I know. You did a great job starting the music.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like it's really loud, but I can control that.
It's peaking.
Yeah, no, it's not peaking. It's great. Let's talk about two folks today. Evan J. and Sharon C.
Hi, Evan and Sharon.
It's fine. It's off now. It's off now, Dennis. It wasn't.
Headphones. You didn't give me any headphones.
I know you don't have
Why
any
doesn't he
headphones.
have headphones? Do you want mine?
No, don't. You need the headphones.
You
Don't
can
touch
have
your
them.
head.
You can have them.
Jesus Christ! What
I
is
can
this
hear
thing?
most things.
We're working out the kinks, folks.
I can hear lots of things.
Everything's fine. Evan
Are we
and
doing
Sharon.
the, like,
yeah, we're
the
gonna
swearing
do. We're
in?
gonna do the oath. I'm gonna have you raise your left hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Promise to dedicate my available time to the exploration and advancement of the frightening. It's now my responsibility. Did I tell them to repeat after me?
You did.
Good. To be an example of rational curiosity,
I think you did.
sympathy, and decency
You did.
as I explore the macabre.
Did you just throw like a weird R
Yeah,
onto
it's
the
a-
silent R?
It's a fancy macabre. Welcome to the Frightday Society.
Macabre?
Yeah.
It's not a chupa.
Evan and Sharon, welcome to it. Really appreciate you. And if you want to be part of the Frightday Society, it's pretty dang easy. You just go to the frightdaysociety.org where you can sign up. It's just $6.66 a month, and you get access to over.
We should clarify that that's
maybe?
$6.66, not $666. Though
Great.
if you would like to pay us
You can definitely
$666, that's fine.
do that. Yeah, bonus episodes of Captain Kelly's Cryptids and Conspiracies, Byron Corner of the Writers' Room, Toasted Host PM with Wine Kelly, both of our Camp Frightdays. So that's 4 5-hour live streams from Camp Frightdays previous. And we are nearing episode 100 of Behind the Screams, the show behind the show. That's the weekly bonus show that we do for this as well. So join up. Lots of reasons to do that. TheFrightdaySociety.org. Check it out. How do you think we're doing so far with the live thing, Kelly?
I mean, other than you not remembering that Rip Torn played Freddy's dad, I think we're doing well.
I only actually know him from the Jackass films, where he enthusiastically throws like confetti and glitter after.
You don't remember him from the Men in Black films?
Not really. Is he good
What
in
the
the Men in Black
fuck?
films?
Yeah.
All
Can I
right.
do the show with Dennis instead?
You probably could if you'd like. No, don't touch me, Dennis. Jesus Christ, get away.
Yes.
On that note, folks, it's time to review a feature film called M3GAN.
I'm really glad you didn't do the weird 3 thing again.
What does that mean?
You did at the big top of the show. You said May 3.
Oh.
And because it has the 3. Yeah.
really
hope
loud.
you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
M3GAN is the 2022 American science fiction horror film directed by Gerard Johnstone, written by Akela Cooper, from a story by Cooper and James Wan, who produced this alongside James Wan. M3GAN is a marvel of artificial intelligence. A lifelike doll that's programmed to be a child's greatest companion and a parent's greatest ally. Designed by Gemma, a brilliant roboticist, M3GAN, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, can listen, watch, and learn as it plays the role of friend and teacher, playmate, and protector. When Gemma becomes an unexpected caretaker to her 8-year-old niece, she decides to give the girl a M3GAN prototype, a decision that leads to unimaginable consequences. Jared, do you know much about this guy?
No.
Director. It's been a long time, actually, since we've talked about this Kiwi Kelly. 8 years almost to the day.
Really?
Yes.
I love Kiwis.
This is from New Zealand on screen. After twice winning the 48-hour film contest. Do you know what those are? 48-hour film contest.
You have 48 hours to make a movie?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I did. I participated in one in Los Angeles with a photographer friend of mine. It was actually kind of a cool experience.
Sounds super fun, actually.
Yeah. Jared used some of the prize money from winning one of those to make a pilot for a comedy, and this project went nowhere.
Biscuits.
But TV3, which I imagine is a New Zealand, like, Channel 5 or whatever the BBC stuff is.
M3GAN came from.
Oh, interesting. TV3 went on to screen 2 seasons of his award-winning comedy called the Jackie Brown Diaries.
Nope, got nothing on that.
Yeah. In 2014, however, Kelly, his first movie came out, a horror comedy called Housebound.
Oh.
Remember that thing?
Yeah, I do.
Covered it in episode 11 of the podcast.
Isn't that funny? I clearly did not
dig into the director here. That's why I wrote this stuff out.
Thanks, B.
We're all learning together. That film garnered wide acclaim in the United States, and it actually got the attention of James Wan at that point. But
for better or for worse.
In 2016, Johnstone, is it Johnston?
I think.
How do you say a word?
I would go with the stone.
John Stone. He rebooted a 1980s series called Terry and the Gun Runners. And the show, it did okay, except it was judged to be too mature to screen in a children's slot.
Oh.
August 2017.
Why didn't they just screen it in a non-children's?
I don't know why they didn't do that.
Seems weird.
So he in 2017 was supposed to be in the running to direct a Warner Brothers film, Dark Universe, which is that like DC or something? I don't know what's Dark Universe, but he ended up just polishing the script, doing a rewrite on that. But remember when I said him and James connected?
Yeah.
They decided to work on this film together.
Yeah.
M3GAN. And remember, we talked about this during our James Wan retrospective a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's his wife. Akela, is it her? How are you saying her name?
Really?
That's James Wan's wife,
You don't
who wrote
say.
the script for this thing. Now, why are you making that noise?
Well, because there were some things about the movie that weren't bad, but I don't think those things were the script.
You think it was a pretty well-written story?
No, I think the script was
Script's
bad.
bad, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was like a triple negative. So, yeah, I think the script
got a
wasn't
little
great.
confused.
Can we... One of my favorite parts was the way that the movie started, though. Can we just start there?
Yeah, wonderful little commercial for a Furby type thing.
Yeah, so here's the really interesting thing about that.
But I did see this in the theater on opening night. You did ask
Which
me a
is great.
question.
Yes, you did. How was the crowd? Sorry. Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Terrified, this 30-some-year-old gentleman.
Oh, I thought you meant they were terrified.
No.
I was like, wow, kids are getting weak
They were
these
certainly
days.
not. But I was worried that it was going to be one of those packed, like, laugh riot type situations.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly respectful.
So it was like a stoner crowd.
No, just like young dudes with chicks and
Maybe they were
stuff,
just all stoned
you
and
know?
quiet.
I
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm- I
On
don't
pills
know.
or something. They don't smoke stuff. They vape
Well,
it or they pill it.
I guess. Is that like the thing these days?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I don't know.
Huh. Well, I'm glad that they didn't ruin it for you.
Well, I'm glad.
Because it ruined it for itself.
Okay.
No, I actually really didn't even dislike it
How
that
many
much.
times can we say this movie's bad
No,
and
I
then,
actually
and then
don't even
backtrack
think...
it immediately? Like,
I think... I actually don't think it's that
Okay.
bad.
Akela, though, she's a screenwriter, notable for writing or working on, let's see, film. She wrote Hellfest in 2018.
Nope.
Worked on Malignant, which we covered for the show, of course. That was the James Wan blank check film where he just kind of got to do whatever he wanted. But also has written scripts for both The Nun 2, which is slated to come out later this year, as well as M3GAN 2.2.0.
Yeah, weird. That's a witty way to name a sequel.
Well, I was hoping they would just stick that number 2 somewhere else in there. M2GAN, maybe?
M3GAN.
I don't know. I think that could be cool.
It sounds like a pirate name.
Right. It did. You spent too many
I
days.
did ride Pirates of the Caribbean a lot.
Of course you did.
It opens with a really interesting ad, like you said.
Yeah.
Byron, it's for a Furby-like
Furby
creature.
kind of thing.
Here's the thing. I got basically that exact thing for my daughter for Christmas. Like almost.
You didn't buy your daughter a pooping toy, did you?
No, it doesn't poop.
Good.
Thank God.
God, fuck.
No, but like
Gross.
it's supposed to be a pet because she wanted a dog.
Gross.
And we were like, no, we're not getting you a dog.
Yeah.
And so we got this little furry, like, electric thing instead. And
Furry electric. Do you know what it's called? What are you talking about?
It's
Toy.
shockingly similar to
Furby.
the name on the commercial. Is all I can remember.
Well, let's talk about the commercial, though. I feel like it did a good job of setting the tone for the film. Just like being a little bit over the top, elevated, silly, funny. Which wasn't really what I expected from this. When I initially heard last year, I think we were talking about this in our wrap-up, we're like, we're getting an Allison Williams film that she's producing.
Sorry to interrupt. It's called What the Fluff, Purr and Puff.
I think I quit the show.
No, What the Fluff, Purr and Puff.
I think I quit.
Literally. And so that ad was an almost exact replica of the ad for these things.
When you decided to have kids, I feel like you were like, I'm going to be a wooden block mama.
I did. They have wooden blocks. I did that.
Uh-huh.
The child was crushed that we weren't getting her a dog.
We'll get her a stuffed animal.
So she has
doesn't need
300.
to light up and talk.
So we got this thing for her, and it died within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so now we had to get another one, and now we have 2 of these fucking things in my house. And after watching this movie, I'm like, I don't think I can have these in here anymore.
I think it's time to get rid of them.
They creep me out. I don't like them.
But Allison, what did you think? Do you remember that discussion?
Yeah.
Or something, because like Allison has a great track record. She started off with Get Out.
She
in the
commands
horror
some
world.
respect.
Because, I mean, Girls, I watched most of it. Didn't watch the final season and a half, maybe. But I thought she was wonderful in that.
Yeah, nepotism or not, she does a good job.
Let's not always say. I know.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that like
a lot of people have been talking about that lately with
I know,
her.
and I
think she's earned her own way, kind of.
Well, I also think that like it's not crazy to think that talent might be something connected
It's
to
genetic.
Like a parental line, right? Like if you grow up with parents doing those types of things, it makes sense that you might be more inclined to do them yourself.
When you're pretending to be shot at by Afghani troops.
That's true. That's
pretty
true.
good
I
at
forgot
acting.
about that.
Yeah. Brian Williams, of course.
Yeah.
News anchor.
What does her mom do, I wonder?
Let's focus.
Okay, so she was good, and this movie made me think it was going to be fine because she was in it. I will say
I was going to say The Perfection and Get Out. The Perfection was an interesting step. That was such a weird horror film.
I loved it.
But like, I don't even know how I would describe that film. Is it like highbrow, lowbrow? Because it's like gross out, but like focused on like classical music. Like, you know, it's really an interesting film.
I think up until this point, the horror that she had done was very unique, like uncharted territory horror.
Sure.
And this was not clearly uncharted territory, which is why Byron and I had no difficulty finding staff picks for tonight because there are lots of movies that follow a similar theme. What I will say is the tone of the movie set itself immediately that it did not take itself seriously,
100%.
and I think that really helped for me because had this movie taken itself seriously, I would have hated it. But I think that it recognized that it
walked an interesting line during the trailers, though, because like you see that quick clip of the dancing Megan, and you're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
And then she runs like an animal during that one part. And I had no idea what the real M3GAN film was going to be, because like a trailer can make a film look like whatever it wants to, you know?
It's true. It's true.
However,
so, little girl
Boogers
going
just came
skiing
out
with
of my
her
face.
parents, they get hit by a truck, and the parents die, and she survives, and she has to go live with her aunt.
What did you just say?
I was just giving the premise at the beginning.
Caddy is her name. Young
Sorry.
girl.
Yes, Caddy.
Violet McGraw, the actress that plays Caddy.
Yeah.
And she's on a tablet, intensely focused.
And has one of these fucking purry
She did have
robot
one of the
pets
toys. Yeah.
in the back, which that probably hit harder with me than it did with you. But the implication was that pet also died in the car accident.
I didn't even think about that because it's not a real pet. Caddy.
Right. But I thought of it because when the one died at our house, when Tamika Flynn
Hit
kicked
close
the
to
bucket, we had to get a new one.
So young girl's in the back, and her parents are trying to get her off her tablet. And they're
also fighting with each other.
Yeah, bickering a little bit, but they're on a family vacation.
They're trying to go skiing, top of a mountain.
Yeah, but the snowstorm blocks their view, and unfortunately a truck does smash into them.
Yep, real fast.
Killing mom and dad.
Yep, gone.
And Aunt Gemma, for some reason steps up to take custody of Caddy.
So this was the first part that I was like, what?
The fuck are we
like
doing
she's
here?
getting interviewed, or pardon me, she's on a phone call with one of her friends explaining the situation, which like the exposition left quite a bit to be desired.
Yeah.
But her friend says, well, what about his parents?
The grandparents, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're in Florida. They're kind of weird. I don't know.
Kind of weird.
Like, okay, like, don't get me wrong. I make judgments about Florida, too.
Well, I don't think that was really attached to this, was it?
It could have been.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it was definitely a snowflakey, liberal Seattle
I guess
vibe
that's
to it.
True, yeah.
Which I also am much more akin to. But I would just say it made no sense that she wouldn't at least have a conversation with the fucking grandparents. Like, that's just weird. Why would you immediately dismiss the idea?
She didn't want to do
this. She
this.
didn't want a kid.
I had no idea.
At all.
That's where the movie is just like...
And then the weird dialogue with the psychologist that comes in to see if Katie's doing okay. Like, the questions that she asks Gemma don't make any sense. Like, were you close with your sister? That has no relevance. Like, why does that fucking matter?
Well, I mean,
the whole thing was very weird.
Why does that matter? I think it kind of matters if the aunt has a relationship with the parents, if they're going to take the kid. Like, you don't want a fresh, like...
Well, but they're not even deciding whether she'll take the kid. She's already decided she'll take the kid unless the woman deems it's not a safe environment.
Yes, and in that case, then
safe
Caddy would go to the grandparents.
Right, but the safe environment has nothing to do with whether she was close to her sister. It has to do with whether she's a shitty guardian or not.
Well, maybe they're talking about emotionally safe, Kelly.
Well, clearly it wasn't.
Introduction to two characters at this point. The neighbor of Gemma, who I think is played really oddly, very one-dimensional. A neighbor who just has a barking dog, and that is truly the only thing that these people ever talk about. It's a misbehaving neighbor dog.
They didn't waste time on that. I mean, I feel like
it comes back 3 or 4 times. It's a repeat thing.
Do you know what this woman's largest acting resume is?
The neighbor?
Yeah, Power Rangers. She's done like every Power Rangers thing ever.
Wonderful.
Who knew?
Oh wait, I think are we talking about Lori Dungy?
Yeah, we sure are.
Oh wow. Okay.
Freaking weird, eh? Anyhow, yeah, she was just the bitchy neighbor with an overly aggressive dog.
I actually don't think she was the bitchy neighbor, and I think her dog was totally fine. I think Allison Williams' character was a bitch. She's like, I'm going to kill your dog.
Okay, can we stop for a second?
Of course.
Now don't get me wrong, I didn't feel bad for M3GAN, but when M3GAN put her arm through the fence to get a freaking toy wooden arrow.
Yeah.
And the dog literally
we don't really need to jump.
attacked her. That dog was not an okay dog to have.
Oh my God. But would you ever threaten to have someone's dog killed in casual conversation the day you bring your new daughter?
I'm not saying Gemma was a great person.
Gemma sucked.
The neighbor sucked too. The neighbor fucking sucked.
That's fine.
The neighbor sucked, Gemma sucked, the boss sucked. Most of the people in this movie I was totally fine with them dying.
And I think that, come on. Can you like slow down?
There were lots of bad people.
Yeah.
Part of my problem with it was I wasn't sure if I was actually supposed to feel bad when certain things happened.
Well, that's the thing, though, is Gemma immediately complains about someone's, like, the chemicals from her gardening going down her driveway. I just feel like we're supposed to establish at that point that it was not Seattle.
It was Seattle.
Was it? It was shot in Seattle?
I mean, it was supposed to take place in Seattle, whether it was shot there or not.
I don't think they ever said that.
The license plates were Washington, and it was a tech center, so it was definitely supposed to be Seattle.
I'm just saying.
I pay attention to details.
I guess so. The right details, obviously.
Mm-hmm. The context was important.
Gemma sucks. And I think that was established.
She was just a very selfish, like, tech genius. I mean, like, in the context of her just doing her thing, I'm sure she was fine. But when you're supposed to be taking care of a child, yeah, she sucked.
Character number 2, though, that was introduced that I think they threw away a lot of, like, what potential they could have had with this character was the therapist.
Yeah.
There's no real, I mean, a spoiler alert, there's no, like, full circle moment where the therapist has any sort of breakthrough or does anything to help. Like,
no, but I think that there's a pivotal scene involving the therapist. My guess is that there was an extension of that scene that ended up on the cutting room floor. But that scene, I thought the therapist was an important component of. Personally.
Gemma, though, she works at the company that makes the little Furby things.
Yes, but she's working on something much bigger.
Yes, which is a M3GAN.
Yeah. Actually, technically, she isn't even working on that yet.
She's secretly working on it.
No, she's working on some kind of a project. And then in her efforts to avoid her niece and work in the back of her house, her niece eventually sneaks into her workshop. They have to have a conversation.
It's literally a room down the hall. And that scene drove me nuts. And maybe I'm nitpicking on this movie. Gemma sits down with Caddy to be like, okay, Caddy, today I have to go to work. I'll just be down the hall.
Okay, so as somebody who works at home, no, that actually is kind of a big deal. So if you are doing work and you've got kids in the house, that was one of the few points where I was like, okay, she's not being totally shitty.
But she's like 12.
Yeah.
Why can't you say, hey, I'm going to be down the hall. Do you want to watch TV while I work?
She's not 12, she's 8, first of all. Okay. And second of all, kids should not be left alone that long, even if it's just you're in another part of the house working. Like, that's just shitty.
Well, then why didn't she just go away for a little bit and then come back?
Because she was a bad person.
I just think this whole thing, it just felt, I mean, maybe that
part didn't bug me because
campy.
It reminds me of me.
The whole thing is just campy and like, I don't know. It felt unrealistic. That's all. But that's what this movie is.
I mean, it was, yeah. Remember, it's been compared to Child's Play. We're not dealing with hyper-realism.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't defend it, please.
Well, I do think those parts of it made sense, but I also think that Gemma, it was very clear she should not have been the guardian to M3GAN.
100%.
And it was much more of a pride thing than it was an actual giving a shit thing.
Well.
Like, she's somebody who's used to succeeding, clearly.
And
like,
you think she's trying to win at raising Caddy?
Yeah. Like, she considers it like a personal failure if she has to hand the kid over to the grandparents because she's good at all the things she does.
Or is that I don't think that was very clearly explained, but
maybe not. That was definitely my take on it, just because she's this
competitive.
She's very competitive and very successful and smart at what she does. Well,
she doesn't do it alone. She does it with Kurt and Tess, her fun coworkers.
Yeah, and this new idea...
Wait, Cole and Tess, pardon me.
This new idea that comes... Yeah, poor Kurt. This new idea that comes up actually is transformed into something feasible by Katie's suggestion. They're working on trying to come up with a very huge leap in toy technology, this trio at this tech company. And Katie suggests something using one of Gemma's old projects from college, which then eventually takes the form of M3GAN.
I feel like those things were completely separate. I think that she was working on the thing in her workshop independently from M3GAN.
Maybe I just misunderstood that. I could have. I thought that the thing that she was working on blew up. She was trying to figure out how to kind of start from scratch with it. And that's when Katie brought up whatever the hell that robot was. Was it Bruce?
I don't think Bruce was brought up until the very end.
No, Bruce, that's definitely not true.
Bruce was brought up when there was an initial failure of M3GAN?
Before M3GAN became M3GAN, when M3GAN was just like literally the robot structure and caught fire, This was before Gemma even got.
But I thought
Katie.
Gemma didn't even. I thought the robot in Gemma's workshop was only controlled by her. It wasn't an active robot.
No, but
with like thinking, like processing.
So what happened was Katie showed up right after that first iteration blew up, and their boss was all pissed.
Yeah.
Because they weren't supposed to be working on it anyway. And so this is why she was tinkering in the back of her house and said, sorry, Katie, I really have to work today. Katie came in and saw what she was working on and then looked at Bruce and asked Gemma about Bruce. Then they started working on Bruce together. And the ideas that Katie was bringing up with reference to Bruce were what inspired Gemma to essentially create
It has been
M3GAN.
about a month since I've seen this. And yeah.
So it was like basically the ironic part of it for me was that M3GAN would not have come about were it not for Katie's contributions, which is what turned, because Gemma's so
what
disconnected.
Technology did she? I'm just confused because the robot that they had was the intention was to make it what it is, right? Like,
originally it was just supposed to be this wildly advanced toy of some sort, but the whole framework for it, and that was what really I think made Gemma the biggest villain for a big portion of the movie. The whole framework for the toy became capitalizing on Katie's trauma. And that's where the idea for the specific M3GAN manifestation of this advanced robotic toy came from. And that's why it was driven into the form that it was, because it came from these ideas that Katie was throwing out. Now, obviously, Katie didn't write the tech for it, but like Gemma was trying to figure out where to go with it. Katie really liked the idea of this Bruce that was kind of like had been a friend to Gemma when Gemma was in college. They talked about it, and that was the night that Gemma like sat down and worked through all this stuff because Katie had said these things that really inspired her about, oh, it needs to be a friend, it needs to be this. And then I hope
you're right about that, because I don't remember any of that.
I promise I'm 100%
I don't
right about
remember her hanging out with Bruce, because
that's why Bruce came in the end. That's why Bruce played such a pivotal role in the end.
Bruce was only controlled by someone else the entire time.
I don't think you should be wasting time on this because I promise you I'm right. I watched it today.
That's fine.
Yeah. So basically, the way that it transformed was Gemma was just trying to dig herself out of a hole with her boss, and she had already wasted all of this money. This was the prototype she came up with, and the only way she was able to sell it was with its specific tie to Katie. I mean, the whole duration of the movie, while they're marketing this to their bosses, this is going to be the next big toy that everybody wants. What was ironic about it was the only real success of this M3GAN prototype was wildly specific to Katie, because its entire development and its pairing, but also the way that it was built and the way that it was succeeding and impressing everybody was so specific to Katie's situation that in addition...
I don't think that's true. I think she spent time with the robot. That's how it worked. It wasn't coded to exactly help Katie. It was... I
think, maybe I'm just not communicating it clearly enough. What I'm saying is the only reason that there was anything to present, that there was anything viable from a marketing standpoint,
Katie was suffering
Katie's trauma. It was all completely dependent on Katie's trauma, and the way that M3GAN was performing and impressing everyone was tied 100% to Katie's trauma.
Can we talk about Ronnie Chang, who played her boss David, real quick?
Yeah, who was he? Because he's a really bad actor.
Terrible. So he's a correspondent for The Daily Show.
Oh, God, he was so bad.
I'm sure he's great at The Daily Show. I'm sure of it. I'm looking at Dennis. He's going, yeah. Nah, he's actually saying nah. He's saying mid.
He was really fucking bad in this.
He was terrible. I was just noticing he wasn't really acting. He was just kind of waiting for his turn to say his line. Like, it wasn't listening to anyone.
And it was like none of the roles were super well developed, but his was the most blatantly two-dimensional. Like, so bad.
I mean, if we're looking for info drops, he was behind most of them. Like, him and Gemma talking back and forth were like every exposition moment.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But terrible performance. Just really rough.
Well, and certainly Gemma's desire to impress him made her see past all of the horrific trauma that she was, multiplying for Katie by essentially manipulating her for the purpose of this work project.
Well, she's basically, what she wanted was more time to keep focusing on her career, so she built M3GAN to raise Katie for her. It's kind of what happened.
I think that was a byproduct.
What do you think her goal was?
I think her goal was to make up for the $100,000 that she had spent trying to develop a new toy for her boss. And this was a way to develop something that was really going to impress him. And she could double that like level of impression by connecting it to Katie. And in fact, he's really gross and he feeds into that emotional stuff too. Yeah, because the first time he sees M3GAN and Katie interact, he says, whoever the chairman of the board, whatever, he's like, that's what we need to do. We need to make it emotional, and that's what we need to do to get those guys on board. And then Gemma's like, yeah, you bet, and like doubles down.
Can we talk about real quick an introduction of the other character that I think was completely underutilized or minimized in this?
Which one?
The assistant.
Oh, Kurt?
Kurt.
Yeah, and he actually wasn't a shitty actor, so it would have been better to have more. Yeah.
Well, but for some reason they approached this angle of him having like a desire to like share the secrets of the company.
Right. Like that was a plot that I was like, where the fuck did that go? And then it went nowhere. That guy's just waving
as he fades out down the end of the road. And then,
it made no sense.
Absolutely.
I guess if the
therapist and him were completely underused in this.
Well, and because obviously I'm sure there were tons of scenes with them that were cut, they should have just been cut way more.
Cut them all.
Right.
Just have him be like a head nodding assistant.
Right.
If
you
that's
don't
what we're going to
need
do.
that part of the story because that was 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
That could have been cut to make it a lot better paced, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that was...
I mean, he was good, though. He was much better than the boss.
I would have rather had him on than the boss, but yeah, the story went nowhere.
My girlfriend thinks that he's going to come in... Did he die? That he might be a part 2 in M3GAN 2?
I'm trying to remember in the shot whether he did or not.
What's funny?
You're just going to watch sorry.
Did I do something on the screen?
No.
I did.
I just had a silly cut to Kelly.
Okay, good. You're impressed by your own work over here.
Thanks, Dennis.
Wonderful stuff.
Much appreciated.
Oh, okay.
Much appreciated.
So, yeah, I guess that's a good... well, let's think. How much more of this? We got to talk about M3GAN.
Okay, can we...
As a character.
Yeah, so she's creepy as shit, and anybody that thinks that she's ever going to do anything other than evil at the end of her trajectory is an idiot.
So you support her in the dog scene when what went on the other side of the fence that Katie was reaching over for that I called Caddy for like the first half of this episode,
which is weird.
It's CADY on this.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you're old like me and you watch everything with subtitles.
Yeah,
you associate the written parts very easily.
No one's named fucking Caddy. Am I an idiot?
Yeah. This is why it's worth the $20 to stream it at home with the subtitles.
That's true.
I love subtitles. There was an article in the Washington Post the other day about why is everyone watching things with subtitles.
I've heard that it's actually because people are talking differently. Yeah. Like
interesting.
Did you just read the headline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you were going to tell me the reason.
No, I don't have time to read that. I have to read stuff about...
You just go, I read in the New York Times.
I have to read stuff about the Chupacabra. I don't
Wonderful.
have time to read.
Spoiler
alert. And it was
alert.
the Washington Post. It wasn't the New York Times.
Whatever. They're both failing.
Okay, yeah, this dog, she reaches through just to get... Now, M3GAN
a toy or something.
M3GAN's off to do evil things, obviously. But in this action, all she's doing is reaching through a hole in the fence to get a toy that fell through the hole.
We're talking about Katie did.
No, M3GAN reaches through.
Oh, you're right. Because,
it's like... a foot in, and the dog immediately grabs her arm and starts ripping it off. Like, that's not okay.
I actually think it was Katie's arm that got bit first.
No, it wasn't.
Byron, I'll pull up the scene. She has blood all over her arm.
Byron, I really need you to stop arguing with me because this is all stuff that I promise you. Yes, Katie gets bit too.
Yeah, when did she get bit?
Because she goes in to try and help save M3GAN.
And then she gets her arm pulled in, and it's the only scene that I think I'm telling you.
I'll just let it go, and the audience can then tell Byron how wrong he is because it's getting exhausting.
No, I will pull up the scene right now. I have it. Don't worry about it. Keep talking.
So M3GAN puts her arm through the hole, and this dog immediately, like completely unprovoked, really does try to rip M3GAN's arm off.
Yeah.
Pulls M3GAN all the way through the fence. Had M3GAN been Katie, it would have been Katie who that happened to. It was completely not okay.
No one said it was okay.
But my point is, it wasn't, like that dog and that neighbor, they were very bad. Like they were bad characters. It was not like an okay thing. I'm not saying Gemma was a good neighbor, but that neighbor and that dog, and I'm a huge animal lover. The dog should not have been killed. The dog should have gone somewhere else.
Why do you care about this dog so much?
Because it's a sad thing and the dog shouldn't have... Oh.
No, keep watching. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up the scene.
Okay, you already went past it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Yes, I
you
did.
went way past it.
Did. I did.
So I just think that most of the characters in this movie, the dog situation was the first one, but then also when Gemma's maybe making a bit more of an effort to try and get Katie some normalcy and wants to send her to school, takes her to the school, and you immediately, oh my God, being from Missoula, which sometimes feels like a mini Seattle. Dennis, have you seen this?
No.
Damn it.
Why would Dennis watch M3GAN?
I don't know. So they go to this introduction for this school to see if it's a good fit for Katie. And
whose arm is this? Whose arm is this, real quick? Hold tight. Arm pulled.
Yeah, that's after Megan.
I know, but that's what I said.
You said Megan. You said Katie's arm got pulled through first, and Katie's arm
I didn't
was
say
the one
first.
Okay, you did, and it's recorded, but there's no
It's
point
fine.
arguing about it.
It's fine.
Oh my God, that's exactly what you said.
I don't know why you're angry.
Because you're arguing with me over the dumbest stuff. That's exactly what you said. I promise.
No, I said this was...
Okay, regardless...
Hold tight, though. Hold tight. This is... The only reason that I wanted to bring this up is this is the scene where I thought that this girl did probably one of the best acting moments in this entire thing. That's the only reason I wanted to bring it up.
Right, and I said she did get bit. It was because she was going after Megan.
Okay,
and you said no, she wasn't.
I don't know why I said no, she wasn't. So let's just move on.
Okay.
I don't know why you're angry.
Well, because you keep nitpicking and arguing with me over all of it. I don't get it.
I don't think I was.
Okay. So I think that this scene shows that character, like, who gives a shit what happens to the neighbor? The neighbor's a bitch. And then we go to the school introduction, and like the kid there is clearly a sociopath. Like, are we supposed to feel bad for what happens to that kid? Because I don't feel bad for the fact that he was literally bullying and hurting Katie. And
yeah, what do you think the point of that whole sequence was? Like, why? Who are we supposed to be rooting for Megan at this point? Like,
I mean, I wasn't rooting for Megan. It was just more a point of curiosity. Like, okay, I don't really care what happens to this kid. Like, oh, she ripped his ear off. Cool. That's great. He's not just some poor kid that is dealing with some issues. Clearly, he's a fucking sociopath. And then listening to his mother talk about him, which, oh my God, the number of times I've had conversations like that with parents, it was very clear that, like, this kid is going to go on. Like, Megan even says something to him at one point, like, bad boys like you grow up to be bad men. And she's right. Like, she's absolutely right. So I don't know how we were supposed to buy into Megan being evil. I will say that was the only scene in the movie that even remotely creeped me out, was when she was running like a weird animal through the woods. I thought that was really creepy.
The look that she did after the fence moment was really good. When she's all disheveled looking at the neighbor, I thought that was kind of cool and fun.
Oh, and like you knew that she was going to kill the dog then?
Yeah. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't think I expected to be scared, so that didn't really bother me so much, because going in, it wasn't like a scary movie, but
I think we're supposed to have like a slow roll, like a moral shift with Megan, because like I think that for a while Gemma is the villain.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Megan's supposed to be the friend helping out Katie.
Yeah,
and making up for the bad things that Gemma's doing, and then eventually Gemma wakes up and starts like,
realizing.
Yeah, and I mean she does take all these steps to try to remove Megan from Katie and be like, shut her off. Stop
I guess that's one place where the psychologist does play a role, because she's the person that Gemma eventually listens to when she's like, I don't think this is good. Like, it's really impressive, but I don't think it's a good thing. And that it seemed to be, because I remember expecting that scene, Gemma to be like, whatever, but she actually seemed to take it in. And I think that's when she also pivoted with the work element of it, like, oh, maybe it isn't a really good idea for this to be pushed out.
The scene where she tries to take Katie to that outdoor school that we talked about with the ear pulling off and the running through the woods, like she intended to take Megan into work that day to do like a software update.
She was just going to leave Katie there.
Yeah, leave her at school. Okay.
Well,
she's taking her to school.
No, she wasn't taking her to school. She was taking her to a school orientation, which is very heavily a parental involvement thing.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I thought that was necessarily a bad thing, that she was...
I mean, you could take that either way.
Yeah.
But I think it was, at that point, it was kind of one more like, oh, okay, well, maybe if it's not good to have the doll watching her, then maybe I can have these people watch her instead. Like,
sure. I think at that point she had turned where she's like, I need to do something to fix M3GAN. Because didn't they have the confrontation at dinner time the night before?
I don't remember if that happened before or after. I can't remember
that's
that.
tough to say. But I think that was when the shift happened, though. She was certainly trying to remove M3GAN from Katie a little bit at that point. And the teacher at that's like, oh, she can come if she sits by the backpacks or whatever.
Right.
Which, of course, that's not going to happen. So.
Right.
Just like every single moment in this movie, though, doesn't really work logically the same way as reality does. And that's kind of what makes it campy and fun, I suppose. But is that something you like? I don't know.
I mean, I guess you start out, anybody going into this movie knows that the doll's going to be evil.
Yeah.
So even though the doll is being friendly to Katie at the beginning, I was waiting the whole time for her to start manifesting the evil that I knew was coming. Like, it's not a Shyamalan. There's not like something that you're not sure about. You know that that's coming. And I never felt super horrified by what she did until like the very, very end.
Some third act stuff.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the most horrifying things she did was that dance, because it made absolutely no sense. And I remember seeing it in the trailers and thinking, wow, I wonder where the hell that's going to come from.
There's got to be some context, right?
And then when it happened in the movie, there was zero context, zero logic. She just does this weird like pseudo-sexual dance in the hallway and then chases after the really bad actor boss.
I think that's where we should pivot our conversation to M3GAN becoming a gay icon.
Okay, because she does like this weird campy pseudo-sexual dance. Is that what it's about? I've
got a couple resources that I pulled from. First
of all, you sent me that Guardian article.
Did you watch the SNL thing?
I did not, but you did tell me about it.
M3GAN 2.0 on SNL. Maybe we'll pull this up too, and this will probably make it so we can't automatically.
Is that really what
this.
it says?
So,
isn't that the actual name of the sequel?
It is, unfortunately.
Oh,
America has a new obsession, and her name is M3GAN. Designed to be a little girl's best friend.
Don't cry, Katie. Everything is going to be okay. Do you want to dance with me?
And protect her at any cost.
I won't let anything harm you.
M3GAN is a box office powerhouse, but she has captivated one demographic above all. Gay men. M3GAN is a gay icon. She is the definition of care. M3GAN's plastic foot is on my neck. So now, we're slapping together a sequel, which promises to be even more gay.
Hi, I'm M3GAN. I'm your best friend, you dumb bitch.
It's M3GAN 2.0.
Work it out, mother!
Strap in, hunty. Annabelle could never.
Go, M3GAN!
Go! I signed up for a 7 a.m. Shania Twain spin class. I should really go home.
Should you go home? Or should we go to the drag show at Motherlode and get high off poppers?
Okay, the queen has spoken.
Critics are saying M3GAN slays literally.
Oh my God.
And it's like Bros, but for gays. You want a new dance you can do on TikTok? Well, then gag on this.
It's the dolls literally giving me life.
Well, you know, I had to turn out for my little homos.
But seriously, you guys are little homos.
You can say it.
If there's one thing gay men love, it's unhinged plastic women.
I'm bored. Drive me home.
M3GAN, you messy hoe. I'm obsessed with you.
We'll get back to it.
I don't get it.
Kelly,
it's
been a long time since you have, I think gay culture has shifted quite a bit.
It has.
In your...
I feel like I thought I stayed more up with it.
Unfortunately, Kelly, you didn't. And it's okay.
I don't understand.
They've come a long way from just watching Sex and the City with you. Like your gay best friends that you were trying to audition all through college.
I mean, you didn't have to audition.
You kept trying to have me be your gay best friend. Unfortunately, heterosexual.
Yeah, I know. There was a long list. But...
From Stanley Henley at The Gamer, which I don't know if this is a reliable news outlet, but...
Well, it was in The Guardian. The Guardian's reliable, don't you think?
I guess so, yeah. I think that music was playing over the entire time I was talking. Hopefully it wasn't. But the reason M3GAN has this queer appeal is twofold. Firstly, she is the sort of well-dressed, immaculately styled, bitchy villain we see deliver punchy burns in our favorite sitcoms.
Really?
She's Chanel Oberlin, don't know who that is, Blair Waldorf, who I also don't know, and Regina George are the references. Do you know those ones?
Really?
Looking at Dennis.
I don't think that she's any of those.
Secondly, from her blonde wig to her poofy bow to her energetic dance moves, she's basically a killer drag queen, and I guess I could see that.
Okay, so funny story. One of my very good friends from college texted me last week after going to see this movie and said, "Oh my God, M3GAN dresses just like you did in college."
But do you see that? I don't see that.
I don't. I'm like, wait, no, I did not. I never had a giant ascot bow.
No.
I never
And you hardly wore
like-
dresses like that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And I never had Mary Janes. I have never owned a pair of Mary Janes. Actually, no, I do have some heeled Mary Janes now. But I didn't have any in college.
So a trend reporter named Connor Murray at Forbes said, almost as soon as the film's trailer dropped, media outlets and social media users labeled M3GAN as a queer icon, which screenwriter Akela Cooper said she did not expect. Quote, she was built from the first wire for finger snapping and a chorus of, quote, icon. Did not expect, but then said she was built from the first wire for finger snapping and a chorus of icon. Sounds like that was a misquote, maybe.
Yeah. Or just...
GQ argues, pointing to the doll's overt campiness, which makes sense. She dances in a contorted manner, sings a cover of Sia's Titanium, which until today I didn't quite understand. Robots are made of metal.
Yeah.
That's the name of the song. And then she says, bulletproof, no thanks to you. Fire away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Really?
I, for some reason.
Okay.
Just
well,
put
that's
it
all right.
together.
I miss things. I did miss that one, but I do miss
And she
things.
wears dramatically large sunglasses. And then Paste Magazine compared M3GAN's marketing campaign to that of Ma, which apparently has a large LGBTQ following, which I don't quite understand.
I feel like this is really arbitrary, weird.
I think we just might be off culture.
I think that maybe people are grasping for something to say about a movie that there isn't much to say about.
I'm telling you, SNL made an entire thing about it, written by Bowen Yang, who I listened to his podcast, Los Culturistas, today. Like, I'm telling you, like, I think...
Was it maybe a joke on how ridiculous people are being about it being a gay thing?
No,
Was it
absolutely
like a
not.
double?
I mean, in fact, I actually printed out
Oh, no.
some tweets about M3GAN
no.
here. And these were collected by my girlfriend. Jenny
God.
Nicholson said, M3GAN was really good. This is just kind of fun. Someone got dumped at our screening, though, which was weird. Which is pretty funny. That's a good one. This is Trixie Mattel, who is a very famous drag queen.
Okay.
Says, just saw M3GAN and it was turnt. So, and then M3GAN responded, always. Knife emoji, flaming heart emoji.
Okay, hold on. No. Can we stop for a second?
Yes, of course.
Just because, all right. So
That's one example. That's just one very prominent voice in the community.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we have, all right, let's pick another community.
I had people in our Discord that immediately questioned my take on this because
punk musicians. Okay.
Oh, God.
If 12 punk musicians come out and say that they really like a movie, does that mean it is like a punk rock movie? Like, no. I just think, I don't know, there's something that
I
does
think
not
you're pushing
sit,
back on something that you might not culturally understand.
Yeah, it does not sit well with me that just because non-cis people are tweeting about it.
No, these are all mostly... Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That it's...
This is Tom Zor, Z-O-H-A-R, said, seated and ready for the major motion picture M3GAN. And it's really funny. It's M3GAN's head on top of Nicole Kidman from the commercial.
That is the worst commercial ever. I hate that commercial. It's so awkward.
I don't think that she understands culture. This
It's the
girl,
worst commercial.
It's actually one of the best commercials.
Oh, I fucking hate it. Every time Sam and I go to a movie, we have another dialogue about how, like, the script for it just doesn't make sense.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you get it. It's supposed to be, like, I have a shirt that says, somehow heartbreak feels good in a place like this, which is a near perfect line.
Yeah, it's bad.
All right, everyone
really
in the
bad.
chat, I need to know what you think.
Yeah, I need to know what you think, too.
This one says, favorite part of seeing M3GAN was how afterward my fiance couldn't stop bragging about how she'd never get murdered by M3GAN because, and I quote, I would respect her. The fiance would respect M3GAN, and that's why she would never get killed.
Hold on, wait a second. And who tweeted this? This was...
That's a gay culture writer, yeah. And this is from Calamari Cockring. They say, all this M3GAN stuff is fun and games till James Corden comes out and comes out at the Oscars dressed as her, frowny face.
Okay, I will tell you this. If James Corden comes out dressed as her, I will accept it
No, they're saying that's bad.
I know.
Yeah.
But my point is, then I would accept it as being like something. I just think that it's weird to say because people that belong to some group like something, it makes it a thing of that group. I don't know.
Here's Joe Valles, a New York University professor whose research has explored the links between queerness and horror movies. He told Vox that he knew M3GAN would become an instant gay icon, adding queer men may be reclaiming what has long been socially prohibited, like femininity.
What?
I don't know what to tell you about this. I really think that
this is going to be my final word on it.
Yeah, I think you probably.
I don't feel like I'm in a position to say whether it's a gay cultural icon
exactly.
or not.
So I don't know why you're pushing back so much.
Well,
I'm trying to understand it, and you're saying no to it.
No, I'm saying I don't buy into it because that's not something that I would draw the conclusion of myself. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I would need to speak with a member of the community about it because that is not me, and it's not you, and it's not Dennis.
But that's why I'm trying.
So yeah, I mean, if we have a listener out there that could maybe take it upon themselves to represent the full LGBTQ plus community and speak to us about it,
I would love that.
That would be great.
I'm doing
that would be very good.
Damned best.
Yeah.
What do you feel about this damn fucking thing?
It could have been worse if it would have been serious. It could have been a whole lot better if it would have been shorter.
You know what I kept thinking? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like the polar opposite of this. Like same kind of like sci-fi pretty Blumhouse vibe.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But like overly serious and full of like really heavy domestic abuse themes. Yep. This takes the loss of the parents and kind of minimizes the trauma, but not in a way that's intentionally malicious, you know?
Yeah, and then it makes us believe that kids get excited over roasted chestnuts.
That's
no child has ever known what a roasted chestnut
so
tastes
is
like,
there
at least in the last 50 years.
I have never had one. Is there a middle ground here?
I mean,
I'm
sure
know.
there is. I'd probably watch the second one out of curiosity. I certainly wouldn't go to the theater to watch it. I'm more interested in the cultural elements of it. I would like to hear more about that. The dance was really weird. Okay. And I didn't feel much pity for most of the crimes that M3GAN committed.
Mostly murders.
And I did
like murders.
Well, and some mutilations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Most of the people she killed, like, it was a bit of an anti-hero, I guess. I do think my favorite part was actually the end, and it sounds like we aren't doing dead giveaways.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless,
I really do like the way the movie wrapped up, just because I liked our lead child actor.
I think she did incredible.
Which is rare. I think that's one thing that seems to be getting better in the universe.
Child actors?
Child actors in horror movies specifically. I would say more than half the time now, they're decent.
So
and
she
I felt
was
like
in
she
The
was
Haunting
really
of Hill House, which makes sense.
Yeah,
incredible
that's what I
there.
recognized her from, I feel like.
As well as Ready Player One.
She was just very, very, very good.
Oh, and Dr. Sleep as well. So she's a Flanagan crossover here.
And I feel like this must have been filmed a little while ago because she, at this point, is 12. And she was definitely younger than 12 when this was filmed, like by a good shot. She was believable as 8. As the mother of an 8-year-old, I felt like she was very believable.
You know what's really interesting?
What?
Her sister, Madeline McGraw, played Gwen in The Black Phone.
No way!
Yeah. So this is Violet McGraw.
Good family of actors.
Yeah.
Another Phoenix family out there, maybe.
Wonderful stuff.
Hopefully really less drug overdose.
Hopefully. We can all hope for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. Watch it at home. Maybe wait until you don't have to pay $20 for it.
Yeah.
I'll probably see the second one. It'd be a real shitty year if this makes my top 10 though. I would give.
Do you have a high and a low real quick? As above, so below?
Yeah, my high was the end, which we can't discuss in detail, but I actually really liked the way the movie resolved. My low was probably Katie's temper tantrum in like the weird viewing room at Gemma's work.
Sure. Yeah.
I just thought that was really forced and awkward.
After a handful of really good performances. It was,
And I felt like that was writing and directing. I don't think that was Violet's fault. Overall, I give... Yeah, I'm not going to be that mean. Overall, I give M3GAN 5.9 paper cutter machetes.
Great. Second best use of that, next to the faculty, of course.
I don't remember how it was used in the faculty.
God damn it.
I know.
Even Dennis is...
It was a
Dennis
first
doesn't
date.
even like horror films
It was
that
a
much.
first date movie for me. I don't remember anything. I was too nervous the whole time.
The second time I watched M3GAN, I watched it in the theaters, and I was thought it was bad, and then I leave the theater,
and you told me it was good.
No, I didn't. I don't know. I might have said, I think I said we need to cover this because
maybe that's what it
that
was.
might have been it.
Because
when I got to my car, I saw people on Twitter like doing flame emojis and stuff. People were going crazy. It's 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's a 6.4 on IMDb, which for a horror is pretty
That's pretty
damn
high.
good.
And I kept asking myself, what did I miss? Like, what is this for me? Who is this for? And that's like when I started investigating this whole gay icon cultural thing too. At that point, because I started digging in and talking to some of the folks in our Discord about it. And it turns out I just don't like campy films.
You like some? I mean, never mind. I take it back. The Freddy got fingered thing. Yeah, you probably don't like campy films.
If it comes down to it, I'm gonna always say Evil Dead 2013 over the original. I don't like the goofiness and the silliness, and that's kind of what is seen in the 80s that I don't like so much. But like I really enjoy Allison, and I think that Violet McGraw's performance was really great in this as well. Ronnie Chang, man, I don't know what the fuck happened. That was one of the weirdest performances I've seen in a bit. But like for the most part, everyone else did great, and the film looked okay. It just it wasn't the kind of thing that I enjoy. So even after a second watch today, I have a different respect for it. I just don't like it. And for those reasons, I guess my low is going to be that they abandoned a couple side characters. Hopefully they'll bring them back in the second one. But to abandon the Kurt character and the therapist, and then like the neighbor was just used as a prop the entire time, that was just kind of odd. I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But my highs, of course, that Sia rendition in the dance. Like, I gotta say, I'm leaning in. If that's the movie this is, I think that a doll whisper singing a smash hit from the artist Sia, that's a hoot. And then put yourself in my shoes when you realize that it's a song about metal. If you can,
very proud of you, Byron.
You can believe that.
Very proud of you.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah, of course. But for all those reasons, I give M3GAN 5.0 ears that M3GAN and our listeners are going to rip off my fucking head, because I'm sorry, guys, they don't get it. And those are our thoughts on M3GAN. It's available on VOD now, folks. If you missed it in theaters, go watch it now. I want to hear your thoughts. A lot of hot takes tonight, so let us know if we're right or wrong. Sound off in our social medias at Frightday on Twitter and Instagram. You can leave a comment below this episode in the show notes at frightday.com. You can say something in our chat here live. And also it's going to be on YouTube for the folks who support us on the Frightday Society. You can rewatch the video version of this.
Over and over and over.
And there's been a little bit of discussion in our Facebook group. In our Discord channel, discord.frightday.com, facebook.com/group/frightday. But let's talk M3GAN takes. I think that sounds like a good time now that we've gone VOD.
Yeah, I want to hear. I'm going to have to actually jump on Discord and see what people...
Of course, yeah. And if you like our show and want to help us make it even better, of course, you can grab something spooky at shop.frightday.com. Maybe I'll throw in some of these Frightday Society matches with an order.
I don't know if we should be encouraging people to burn things. I mean, better now than in the summer, I suppose.
Can I put matches in a package?
Can you?
I don't know. Who cares? Fuck it.
I don't know if you can.
I don't know. Shop.frightday.com. We got all kinds of stuff there. And of course, Frightday Society. Join it at thefrighdaysociety.org. You get the first 10 episodes there as well. I was going to say you could listen to our review of this gentleman's first film, Housebound, but that is, I think, free and available. I think it might be the first episode that you can listen to.
Oh, is it really?
Episode 11.
Oh, that's fun.
Coughed on my dog.
That's really interesting.
That sucked. I coughed on my dog, and I feel bad. But
I mean,
you guys are the best. This is Dennis. Thanks, man. Next time I'm going to, you can push that button. Next time I'm going to have some headphones for you so you don't have to sit there in the dark the whole time. But I really appreciate you running the camera. I appreciate the folks at home for tuning in live and listening. This was a ride, Kelly.
Yeah.
You almost yelled at me again. In the middle for no reason.
Well, just don't disagree with me when you're wrong.
No one was wrong.
As long as you don't disagree with me when you're wrong, you're
Kelly,
fine.
where are you going to be until next week? You're out of time. So show's over.
Bye, everybody.
Stay scared. We'll time that out better next time. All right, folks. We'll see you
Everybody
later.
knows where to find us at this point anyway.
I know.
Nobody needs to hear it again. You know what I just realized that we didn't talk about? She was the girl in Dr. Sleep.
Still live. I said that, though.
I would say that if it was live.
I said it.
That she was in Dr. Sleep?
I did say that.
You did? I'm sorry, I messed up.
See you next week.
You've been listening to an Audio Wool original, produced by Byron McKoy, theme music provided by Cemeteries. For more programs like this, visit audiowool.co.